Hey everybody, it is the General Damage Podcast. It is episode 54, and your host, Will, is here to do the intro again like always.
Host.
Boom. Me?
Host. The three of us are hosts. Yeah. I'm Nick.
And I'm Shane.
Host.
And I'm Will.
Okay, Pat Sajak.
He's taking all the credit.
Come on, listen, every time I do one of these, I have to, spice it up a little bit with something new. I can't just do
you're half
shit.
Indian. Just, add some curry to it.
Listen, I spice it up wherever I go. You just as jelly.
No, I'm not.
No, but we might have white people taste buds.
Oh, pussies. That may have been a little aggressive.
A little bit. I don't give a shit, but...
Weak.
Yeah. I mean, when you use sriracha like ketchup, I mean, that's a thing.
Well, it's a lot of people. I don't...
Basically? Functionally? Basically?
Sriracha, for me, isn't the fact that it's too hot, but every time I've tried using it, it tastes like it's burnt. There's, this bitter taste to it, and I don't know if it's, a chemical reaction, something that it's in me. It probably is me. I don't know. I can't do it because it's just I don't want my food to taste bitter, so I don't use it.
Huh. Yeah. I like adding it to soups.
How interesting. Dude, putting in soup's delicious. How do you take chicken noodle soup and make it better? Sriracha. These eggs look boring. Sriracha. I made quesadillas today. You know what I put in that shit? Sriracha.
Okay,
that's how I roll, man.
Sriracha give us money.
Dude, sriracha giveth, and it also taketh away.
Man, you know a Vietnamese man made that shit? Yeah. You hear something like sriracha, you think Mexican, but no, it's a Vietnamese guy. He's in his mid-70s.
Oh, dude, it's in every faux shop you've been to, every or just about every ramen shop has it.
Yeah.
It goes with all of that, and just because you can add just a little bbit, and it'll flavor up the broth a little bit more.
I came home and my stepdad was like, "Oh, I got this sriracha stuff. It's really hot," and I'm just kind of I mean, it's sweet. I use it more as a sweetening agent because I've actually tasted hotter things, but I like sriracha.
Well, there you go.
And he used to call it rooster sauce for the longest time, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I occasionally call it cock sauce. It's delicious.
God.
Goes on everything.
I mean,
it's all for you.
It's pretty okay.
Well, what was it? Speaking of all that, okay, so because PAX is happening, or it's gonna happen. I don't know if you saw the announcement, Will.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but I remember when we went to PAX and all the restaurants around the convention center in that area, in that, I want to say 6-block radius, maybe a little more, maybe bigger than that. Mm-hmm. They all basically try to theme towards PAX. And I think you got some pizza when we went to Gordon Biersch. That was supposed to be some devil pizza or some shit.
Yeah.
And you were like, this is the mildest shit I've ever eaten.
Yeah.
Because I think all they did was they replaced the tomato sauce with sriracha. And they maybe have added some peppers to it.
It was really sad. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the Northern Pacific of America. It's pretty white, so yeah, they're not going to have a whole lot of spice. Or that's just a sad attempt, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, it was referred to as being pretty spicy, and I was like, I'll be the judge of this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad, it just wasn't spicy. Putting sriracha on pizza is also pretty delicious, because you put sriracha and then you sprinkle some red chili flakes on there. Good times. Yeah. Good times.
I've gotten kind of used to the sauce at and we're talking about food. I think it's the mild at Chipotle. I mean, it's not hot, but
oh yeah.
Or medium. Never mind.
That's pretty good. Yeah. That's pretty good on a burrito. I don't know, these days I've typically shied away from it. Not because I'm just ugh, this is gross, but more that's all that like it just doesn't interest me. I get the pico and the corn salsa, and I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
It is just as well.
Yeah, that's cool. I ate that today for lunch.
I had the quesadillas I made at home, which were pretty good. Pretty good.
I ate a BLT.
Ooh.
Correction.
Good BLT can be made good.
I've been eating BLTs all week.
Why?
Okay.
My mom cut off like a whole tomato and like a whole head of lettuce for BLTs for like one dinner. And there was a whole bunch of lettuce and tomato left over, so she goes, I'm going to cook off the rest of this bacon, have BLTs for lunch every day.
Alright.
It was like a weird social experiment.
So you've been having BLTs for lunch pretty much every day?
Yeah. They're pretty good.
I get sick of that.
I mean,
get sick of that after a while.
At first you're like, oh, this is pretty great. And then after like day 3, it kind of wears on your tongue.
That's anything. I mean, that's why it's like
well, leftovers. I mean, bacon's like super oily.
Yeah. Well, like leftovers from Thanksgiving. Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. Like, you know, this is great. I think on the Friday, oh yeah, this is really good. And then you might have some on Saturday. And then you're like, Sunday, it's like, I need something totally different. I need like a burger or a burrito or Italian or something. I need something totally fucking different because I'm just getting tired of the goddamn poultry.
Right, yeah, you just need a palate cleanser when it comes to it.
Yeah, it's also heavy as shit. I mean, Thanksgiving's a heavy meal.
Thanksgiving is the ultimate meal.
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how the family cooks it, yeah, it is the meal that has the most amounts of food attached to it for whatever reason, but it's delicious nonetheless.
Yeah, I've been to Thanksgivings where they try to make it healthy.
Love Thanksgiving.
That's a big fucking fail.
I mean, since we're talking about foodstuffs and all that, I just want to hop straight into this thing that happened on April Fool's. Because it actually matters about food, ironically. So,
it does, but you're pissing me off.
So, for some people, April Fool's Day was great because Rick and Morty season premiere, right? And you know, if you like the show, hey, that's really cool and funny. Obviously, this show would show up on April's Fools. If you're really excited about Samurai Jack coming back, you were probably super duper pissed off that Rick and Morty premiered.
Right.
Well, I record Samurai Jack, and so
like a lot of people.
I record it. So when it was on, you know, it starts at 11 on Saturday night, and I sit down on Sundays in the morning to watch it before I have to work out, and I press play, and next thing I know, it's Rick and Morty. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. A lot of people on Twitter were pissed off, and it's like 13 years versus 18 months of waiting does not compare. Give me my goddamn Samurai Jack. Which was a lot of people's feelings towards it. And that was my feeling towards it as well.
I really think...
if there's 2 days...
I was going to say, I really think Adult Swim dropped the ball on this one where they should have planned to have both as opposed to only one of them. So they definitely fucked up on this one.
Well, what they did is they just didn't even change the programming. It said Samurai Jack in the guide, if you have TV, and then it just recorded that. But like, I think they played Rick and Morty all fucking day.
Yeah, I heard it just played on repeat.
Streaming it all day.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, and it was super aggravating. Because I haven't caught up on Rick and Morty.
I mean, the way I would have done it if I wanted to do a prank, is I would have had some sort of collab go on where the episode started off normally like Samurai Jack, and then Rick pops in, like if they wanted to do like something special for it, and then the episode after actually have Samurai Jack.
Maybe
there are better ways to do a prank, right? This isn't really a prank. This is more of a publicity stunt for Rick and Morty, which, if it was any other time, I feel like it would have worked.
Right.
But Adult Swim's really underestimating how much people love Samurai Jack.
Well, yeah. And, this was announced 2 years ago that Samurai Jack was coming back, and You go, great, and this was going to be the 4th episode after the last episode, which was just brilliant. And then, no, we just get, we get shafted. Supposedly it'll be on tonight at 10 o'clock. Here, anyway. Shane, it's almost 10, it's almost 11 there, as we're recording, but yeah, it's like, okay, I'm going to set record then, and it better be fucking recording, or I'm going to be pissed. If it's Rick and Morty again...
Oh, that would not be good.
No, wouldn't.
That would be terrible.
It would. You're sabotaging your own company that way.
Yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, there's 2 days that I would really like people to just get rid of, or like the world to get rid of.
Okay.
It's April Fools and Daylight Savings Time.
Sure.
Let's just get rid of both of them. And we'll be happy.
I would like to adopt the European version of April Fools.
What the fuck is the European version?
Which is?
It's about fish. Basically, instead of like trying to do really cool pranks to each other, the big prank is to try and tape a fish on the other person's back. And then after you do it, you give them a chocolate fish.
How about
I like
How about
chocolate,
just
so
none of that?
I like this idea.
Then go buy chocolate.
But like a day dedicated to giving chocolate fish to people, that's kind of hilarious. It's such a weird concept. How many
days in the year are there to where you give chocolate? We are upon a day, on a holiday coming up where it's chocolate constantly.
Yeah, this is true.
Easter's coming up, and if you haven't been to a fucking grocery store or convenience store of any kind, then you probably don't know that all the Easter-themed chocolates are out.
Yeah, I'm aware. I love me some Cadbury eggs.
Tape a fish to someone's back just for a chocolate? Fuck off.
You got no holiday spirit.
I'm pissed off at you.
No holiday spirit.
I have holiday spirit. That's a stupid holiday.
For this one. I will agree that April Fool's Day is probably one of the most annoying days
on the internet, especially.
The internet becomes an unlivable nightmare.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays, it's just a terrifying place. You do have those small gems of like, that was clever, or that was funny, but 90% of it is a train wreck and a disaster waiting to happen. Oh, yeah. To give you an idea of like one that I think totally fucking failed, I posted recently a magic related one where one of the artists for Wizards of the Coast did an April Fool's theme joke, and instead of the community going ha 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 that's clever, it was like the community was up in arms and ready to cut his balls off. It was so bad that this dude took it down and like was like, nope, I want no part of this anymore.
You talk about that split Planeswalker card?
I am talking about the one in particular. I posted it on my Facebook page, and I was just like, this has to be fake. This is fake as balls, right? God, let it be fucking fake. Because that's a nightmare. No one wants that. No one wants any part of that.
If that was real, I was literally going to quit Magic.
And that is the problem with April Fool's Day, is sometimes shit is just taken too fucking far, and you wind up, instead of it being funny, people want to beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, well, Trey and Matt Parker, the creators of South Park, they learned that the hard way.
Oh, yeah.
A
long while ago, instead of... it was a 2-part episode. I think it was the episode where you're supposed to, quote, find who Cartman's dad is.
Yeah, I remember that.
And at the airing of the second episode, instead of airing the actual episode, they aired a bullshit Terrence and Phillip thing.
Oh, God.
Which no one liked.
I mean, I look back on that, and I'm like, that was really funny, but I'm pretty sure people were really pissed at the time.
Well, yeah, it's the same thing now. With Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to, like, April Fool's Day, it doesn't really bother me as much as it did, like, in middle school and grade school.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And I say that just because, like, that was the day where it's like, oh, I'm going to get terrorized, and, unlike usual, or more to the usual, no one's gonna help me deal with it because it's April Fool's, so it's all in good fun.
Yeah.
I think as I've gotten older, April Fool's Day is the day where I can trust nothing on the internet or anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be given this like ray of sunshine only to be told, nope, was fucking kidding. Because it's just like, why do I put my faith in any of this?
Really quick.
So
Sorry to cut you off. I just had a thought because this appeared on April Fool's Day. Is George Takei really going to run for House?
I gotta.
If you saw it on April 1st, I wouldn't trust it unless you keep seeing it.
Well, the thing is, he shared it. Like George Takei actually shared the article. That's why I'm confused. Like, it's like I'd be like, that'd be a really cruel joke coming from him.
Yeah, it would.
You're right.
Well, granted, I mean, Bruce Campbell a few years ago did a really funny April Fool's joke where he made a fake poster for Doctor Who in America. And it was like starring Bruce Campbell, and everyone was like, I don't know if it's real or not, but this sounds really cool. But it was a joke, but no one got hurt. Everyone was like, oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. But, like, I do understand that, like, it's a kind of a useless holiday. And I mean,
it's not really a holiday. It's just a fuck all thing.
It is in some eyesights. It is a holiday, but it's like an unwritten holiday.
Yeah,
it's like a holiday that's lost its meaning,
like Easter.
Yeah, I think that is the bigger thing. Is like, you know, how did like, or what's kind of the origin of April Fool's Day, and like, what did it actually start out as?
Yeah, well, you can go down a rabbit hole on that.
I know. Yeah. I'm just like, I could delve into that, but I'll stay away from it a little bit.
Yeah. The reality is, though, okay, like the one joke about the Szechuan sauce thing in Rick and Morty, that was funny. Yeah. The fact that McDonald's is actually thinking about doing it is even more funny.
Oh, yeah, no, it's comical.
But at the same time, I don't care.
I think it's awesome just the fact that, like, it's such an obscure thing, right? Like, when they brought it up, I was like, oh, I think I remember the Szechuan sauce. Vaguely. Like, because, you know, Mulan came out when I was like 6.
Gee, wait, what? No. What, real 6?
I'm just throwing out a number, Nick. I'm not, like, really thinking hard about the year. I just remember I was a child.
You were 7.
Yeah, it's like I saw one commercial.
98, right?
98.
Yeah, cool. So I was 7.
Oh, you were 7. That's still not good. Oh, fuck.
You're forgetting, like, the 5-year age gap?
Yeah.
You're just as bad as my brother. My brother the other day goes, hey, what year were you born again? And I'm like, really? Really, you have to think about this one.
91. Yeah, you're a child born in 91.
Yeah.
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 Anyways.
Fucking 30. I'm going to be 31 in 3 months or 2 months.
Oh, by the way, I'll tell you here. I got you a present.
What, me?
Yeah, you.
Why?
Did you get him a walker or something? Shane, I figured you'd be that
Fuck yourself, Will. Piece of shit.
Sorry, man.
You know, that's actually really good. But
you're going to be 30 this year, too, you fucking womp.
Hey, man, I'm not saying I'm not an old man or broken or, like, crotchety. I'm at least owning up to it. Shane's just hooking you up early. Surprise!
No,
okay,
you're broken.
Okay, I'm probably healthier than you on a physical level, even though I have taken a pounding in my life.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely. Definitely.
Because your liver's probably at least, like, 50%
It's not
more
a question
intact.
of liver or anything like that. It's just a question of, like, I've survived it and healed. I think Will has inherited shitty bones.
Yeah.
Will's
great
grandfather was a bird of some kind.
Yeah, right.
What?
Feather bones.
Yeah,
Super lightweight.
Hollow
Break
bones.
easy.
God.
You got me a gift.
I got you a gift because I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh,
Okay.
Nick would really like this.
Okay.
So I might as well pick it up.
Well,
Yeah.
I
was
ain't
like,
moving
oh,
anytime soon.
if the opportunity arises and, like, you know, your birthday's close, because I was like, oh, Nick's June 6th or 7th?
6th.
6th. All right, so I was right. I'm getting good at this.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
But thank you in advance, I guess.
I was like actually... I should mail him a hearing aid first, Will.
Go fuck off, alright?
And then, mail a few days later the actual gift.
I feel like the hearing aid would be better for me.
Whatever.
Man.
And that's the shit I get at D&D with Emily. It's like, you're old. Like, motherfucker, I'm 30.
God. Seriously.
I mean,
the concept of being 30 and being classified as old is ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, how old is Emily? Like 23 or some shit?
Something
I think her and Eli are probably the same age.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah. It's just like, Jesus fucking Christ. 30 ain't
really
that
funny.
old.
Old is
what? Because
30 ain't that old.
We had a birthday party for my nephew, and my brother gathered all the family for it. And, it's his firstborn kid. But so we're talking, and I brought up the age thing. I was like, Paul, come on, 5 years, right? It's not that hard. Uh-huh. And then my dad made a comment. And I looked at him, and I just went off about his age, right? Because he's like 51 now.
Sure.
And of course, then he gets all guff with me. My younger brother comes up, looks at me, goes, "Yeah, but you're turning like 26. You're like ancient compared to me."
Oh my god, small child.
But I was, I laughed because I was like, yeah, I mean, I lose my health insurance, so yeah, I guess that's kind of bad.
Oh god.
Well, actually, I don't really though. Mass health, free healthcare.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think it's funny, I say I'm old, I say you guys are old, but really, 30's still really young, right?
Yeah.
But
30 is
but
still
when you're a
fairly
teenager,
young,
right? I go back and I put myself in my younger brother's shoes, and I'm like, shit. Man, I was 15 once, and I did think 30 was ancient.
Well, you think of it in the terms like this. So you're 15. If I look back 5 years, I'm 25. Okay. If you're 15 and you look back 5 years, if you're 15 and you look back 5 years, you're 10. Not to mention, that's a third of your life. And at the age of 10, you're just learning about certain things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the gaps in age and everything like that are going to feel gigantic. I think the marker is if you can look back 5 years and you are still kind of in some sort of if I could look back, in my 20s, I thought, okay, I can look back 5 years and I'm still in my 20s. That's kind of like a set of oh shit. I have, I have grown, I have experienced things. Yeah, and this is, same thing with 30. If I look back 5 years, I'm 25. I have to look back 10 or 12 years to get out of my 20s.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just the fact of the matter is I graduated high school 13 years ago. Yeah.
I mean,
so it's
age,
weird.
Age is the relative thing, right? All I know is though, it's interesting because also we looked at that party. Something clicked in my head where I realized I'm like, oh shit, we have 4 generations of male dudes in the same room for my family. And I was just I'm looking at it, I'm like, huh, if this was a Pokemon level up chart, it's not looking pretty good in the future.
Okay.
No, well, granted, I make that joke just because, my grandfather, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Kind of bald, kind of fat.
Sure.
Right, that was the joke, right? And actually,
Okay.
I like grabbing my younger brother, and I like pointing at my dad and be like, that's your future.
Oh my god.
And of course he's like, but that's your future too. I'm like, but we have different moms.
Oh god.
My future might be a little bit brighter.
A little, maybe.
Savage.
It's very savage.
I mean, the way I look at it this much, thanks to my mom, I'm never going to go bald, so.
True.
Yep.
And
Same
if
you on that,
you do go bald, just fucking shave it.
Right?
Just, don't don't do a comb over thing. Just fucking shave your head.
Yeah, you should look fine, Shane, if it comes to that.
Are you kidding me?
He's cut his hair pretty close to almost being bald. He's fine with it.
I mean, well, here's how I look at it. I wear a hat all the time.
Yeah.
Not much will change except the loss of sideburns.
Yeah.
Basically.
I find it funny that people who go bald still grow beards. It's ironic to me.
God has a cruel sense of humor.
Yeah.
You can grow hair everywhere else but not your head.
being bald and having a beard is actually a really good look.
It is,
It is a
and
good
from what I've seen, like
It's
people
weird
like that.
because it shouldn't be when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, Adam Sessler, he just shaved his head because he was growing bald really quick, and he decided to grow the beard because he said it gave a nice distraction.
That's probably what it is.
You know, it's like something else to look at.
And it's hair you can take care of, so it feels like you're at least doing something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I got a little news if we can get off the beard subject.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about, like, movies are coming up and Ghost of Sheldon and Do Well and blah, blah, blah. And I heard, and I found an article that was like a year or two ago. Mm-hmm. And have you guys seen the Ghostbusters movie? Because I watched it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I have not yet as well.
It's okay. A lot of things they could have fixed. The actors are fine, but there's things they could have fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I found this article about remakes. So, Back to the Future. You know who owns Back to the Future?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah. I cannot quote their names. I was recently watching a podcast and they were talking about it.
You're probably watching the same one I was watching. You're watching the same one I was probably watching. It's Robert Zemeckis.
Yes, it's Zemeckis and someone else have the rights to the franchise,
right? And Zemeckis and the other guy, I forget who, have it in their wills that it can never be when it goes to their children, when the rights go to their children, they are barred from ever making giving the rights away to make a remake.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
right. And that's such a smart thing to do because it shows, like, I mean, it just wouldn't make as much sense to remake that franchise.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of feeling, a lot of storytelling dynamics that made sense for when it was made.
Yeah,
considering the date of the movie. It just wouldn't. It would just be weird.
Yeah. If
they wanted to do a remake now.
Well, I mean, if you look at everything from Back to the Future, everything's about plus 30 years, for the exception of the third movie. For the exception of the third movie, everything's plus minus 30 years. Right. And that works, and it's a fun movie. At the same time, I don't really want to see a modern Marty McFly because I don't think he'd be interesting. No,
I feel like he'd be a douchebag.
Well, it's not that he would be a douchebag. It's just like, why would a kid give a shit about some mad scientist guy when he's got... Why would he go outside when most kids, I feel, are kind of homebodies? They got computers, they got games, they got tablets and phones. And not to mention, like, a 15-year-old befriending some 60-year-old scientist, like, CPA be called.
It's less likely to happen.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just Back to the Future in 2017 or 18 or 19 or whatever just would not work.
I had that similar thought.
We have Rick and Morty. We have Rick and Morty, so fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. Like, that suffices for us. What was the other movie show?
It was Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Sure.
I was like, that movie...
Not a fan of that movie,
I liked the movie. My mom showed it to me, and I was like...
I like it.
That movie, would it be entertaining now?
Yeah.
And I gave it a lot of thought because it was like, oh, it's just a movie about skipping school, right?
Pretty much.
And back then it's like, oh, that's a big taboo thing. And I think about it now, I'm like, man, kids skip school all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine it being, like, super popular.
Contextually, just doesn't make any sense anymore. Like, there's not that fear anymore that, oh shit, if I get caught, my whole world is over.
And it's also a generational thing. I mean,
right.
Like, kids, that's kind of wrong to say. It's just different outlets to express yourself and find entertainment. Everything's at us and kids. Everything's kind of at our fingertips with phones and computers and stuff like that. In the 80s, they didn't have that, so they had to go out and make trouble.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, it is, and it's just there's just some movies that just would not work. I don't know who owns the Breakfast Club rights, but I don't want to see that movie.
Yeah, that's another one.
If you want to make a remake, you shouldn't make a remake. You should go, what do I love about this movie? And then try to emulate it. That's what Stranger Things does. That's what Super 8 did. Do that.
Yep.
What's the word I'm looking for? Make a homage, I guess?
Yeah, and an homage to it. Which again, as you pointed out, both of those movie and show are successful because they do replicate the feeling, but don't, they aren't a carbon copy.
Yeah.
They have their own thought, their own ideas behind it. And that's, if you want, and that's why Rick and Morty does so well, because it is an homage to Back to the Future without being Back to the Future. They take severe liberties with that kind of, dynamic.
You have Rick's look, and then you have the name Morty, which is very close to Marty, so...
Right.
The difference is Rick's an alcoholic and insane and a genocidal maniac, and Morty's kind of a puss.
Yeah, he's definitely a timid creature.
I just found an article about Ferris Bueller. Why Ferris Bueller's Day Off would be impossible to remake this day. It's dated. It's dated June 2016. I don't want to read it, but yeah. Hey, that's the truth. It just wouldn't work.
No, I agree.
Could you imagine? Kid skips school, sings on a parade float. Oh, look at that! Everyone takes his photo, puts it on Twitter. His parents instantly find out.
Exactly.
Game over.
Oh yeah, dead kid.
That would make a news right away.
Oh yeah.
So, Speaking of which, now I don't know how you guys feel about this. But I don't mind it. I don't know if it would be a remake, if you should make... Okay, I love the Addams Family movies.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. I love them. I think they're great. I think Raul Julia kills it in both those movies. He has one of my favorite lines. But
which one?
With the line?
Yeah.
It's in the second movie. It's when Joan Cusack's character, Debbie, when she comes in... And she extends her hand and goes, well, who's this lady killer? And he goes, acquitted.
That's awesome.
It's a good line. And he just says it, in a literal context. But someone apparently posted a picture recently on Twitter. You guys may have seen it, may have not. Of Oscar Isaac, from, he played Poe Dameron in Force Awakens. So it's Oscar Isaac. He's wearing this kind of, I can't describe the suit, but he's wearing a suit, and he's got this nice little mustache going. Not a full-on Sam Elliott mustache, just kind of a nice, kind of thin, but not too creepy thin.
Sure.
He's got that on, his hair's kind of slicked back, and then they had a picture of Eva Green from probably an award show. She's wearing an all-black dress, and Eva Green, she's got those killer eyes and the black hair, and she looks really good. And they put them together, and they said... This should happen. Gomez and Morticia.
And if feelings about that.
I should show you the picture, but I don't trust going on. I'm going to try to risk it. But I saw it, and I'm like, that would work. That really would work, I think. I'd be hesitant, but at the same, it's him and Han. I think it could work. I would love to see a modern Wednesday. I would love to see a Wednesday that would fry a kid with an iPhone or some shit. It would depend on the feelings of it.
It's someone pointed out what makes the Addams Family such a great concept is that they have all of the makings of the generic nuclear family.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's different, really, is the way they see the world.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what makes it so good, is because you have a father, breadwinner, you have a mother, homemaker, right? They take care of their parents, they raise 2 children. They have a crazy brother-in-law, it works. There's so many other family shows that you could compare them to, but the only difference is the way they see the world is super interesting to people.
Yeah, but the other thing is I read an article about Gomez and Morticia, and the article basically saying was you shouldn't I found the picture. You should not model, how people say, oh, I want a relationship like Romeo and Juliet, Romeo and Juliet, here is the picture. We'll probably try to post this on the Facebook page. Romeo and Juliet are just two dumbass kids who kill themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Gomez and Morticia are actual co-parents. They do things well. They experiment with each other. They let each other be themselves and their weird selves. And, they all work. Addams Family came out on TV and they co-parent and they're equals to each other when the standard sitcom had the bumbling husband. Gomez was never the bumbling husband.
Right.
Yeah.
He was very intelligent.
Yeah, he
knew what he was doing.
Yeah, so, I mean, it can. I think it could work. Especially if they're stuck at a time.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing is that you have to sell it that they have not caught up with the times.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable, but I don't know. Much like how we feel Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Back to the Future just don't seem like they'd fit with nowadays. I kind of feel like Addams Family, much like Beetlejuice, kind of falls into that category as well.
Yeah, I mean,
I think Addams Family to a degree could work, but I mean, I also have a lot of hesitancy to make it into a product.
Yeah, I just think this picture works as the two of them.
Oh yeah,
I will agree with you there. Yeah, they fit it very well.
But it's one of those things that you have to be 100% on the money, otherwise it'd be a flop.
Oh, definitely.
Right.
So, I'd be down for it. I just want to see what happens.
There was an artist who was doing it was a concept board for a project.
Mm-hmm.
And the project, a concept board. It's basically a whole bunch of images that they put together. Like you do in a lot of art classes. The one they were putting up together was a new Addams Family movie. It was going to be animated, right? Granted, this is a hypothetical.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it was interesting because it was Addams Family. It was adjusted for now. Gomez and Morticia were still, they look like themselves, and their description was they're still the Gomez and Morticia that you know, but now they're raising more modernized children. And the plot they were going with, which I thought was interesting, was it was teenage Wednesday falling in love. Okay. And it wasn't girl falls in love. It was kind of an interesting, how do I put it? The summary they wrote up was it's like Gomez and Morticia trying to be good parents, trying to help their teenage daughter find her way through life, while the effect of being young and being in love is having a weird effect on her. And so it kind of ripples through the family, right?
Right.
And I was that's an interesting approach, because that blends the best parts about what you could do with the Addams Family, which is it's now, right? It's not the old stuff.
Right.
But it keeps the core of it, because a lot of the look and a lot of the stuff that they were going to go with was still very much Addams Family, especially with keeping Lurch looking like Frankenstein. And Cousin It,
Yeah, well, I mean,
he's a fucking monster.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's Cousin It. Well, he's It. That's the thing.
Yeah.
What was it? I mean, the first two Addams Family movies, they were stuck. They were in the 90s. They didn't fudge the time or anything like that.
Oh yeah,
no,
they could do it. I think they could. It's just, again, they have to be on the money.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
I definitely think that's a challenge.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I think Hollywood does notoriously is they rush it. And they rush, that's what happened with Suicide Squad. They rush the script. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's if someone says, okay, we got to make a movie about Addams Family, you have to go back, look at the old movies, the old show, maybe even look at the comic book strips, and look at the last two movies and see what they did and what they did right. And it's you cannot make... Because, I don't like comedies now. I watched Neighbors, and it was just stupid. There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing funny. I don't know why that movie is greenlit, and I don't know why it's a hit comedy. It just bugged me.
Lowbrow comedy is becoming kind of the new norm.
It's not becoming lowbrow, it's becoming normal. Lowbrow used to be a good thing, but since we had 3 Jackass movies, lowbrow is normal.
Huh.
Speaking of, I wanted to get to this. I just remember I saw The Interview. The movie about, it's Seth Rogen and James Franco, and they are...
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Bad movie. Bad movie.
That movie was terrible.
That was awful.
Funniest moment in that film, though, was in the beginning, I think it was, where they're interviewing, where Franco's interviewing Eminem.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Oh, yeah.
And Eminem just randomly says, well, I rap about gay people because I'm gay, and this, and they have the best reaction to him just, like, nonchalantly coming out of the closet. I think that was the funniest moment in the goddamn film, and the rest of the film is just an atrocious piece of shit.
Yeah, it is not.
Yeah,
good.
I mean, we could have had more of that, but instead we got just nothing. Ugh. Wasted my time watching that piece of shit. But that was a hilarious moment. It was the only time I laughed in the movie.
I mean, honestly, the Ashley and I saw Neighbors.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not like a great movie, but like it's got some good laughs and whatever. They made a sequel.
Yeah.
And the only good thing about the sequel was the fact that I saw the first one. And that's kind of not a good sign when you make a sequel.
No.
Now, granted, I do agree with you. It's lowbrow comedy, and I don't necessarily think it's like award-winning comedy.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like, this is the direction we're going in. When I saw The Interview, my immediate response was like, God, I really hope we don't make any more films like this.
Sure.
It was just, it was so forced. And not it's great if you could make a hypothetical question, like what if we could interview Kim Jong-un, right?
Right.
Kim Jong-il.
Sure.
Like how would that go?
You need a seance for Kim Jong-un.
Yeah. But like instead they were just like, yeah, let's just piss him off.
Yeah.
Right. That's pretty much what it was. I don't know why you would make this movie.
Yeah. I don't know where comedy's going in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
it's rough to make good comedy.
Yeah. Well, you just need clever like writing and punchy. And the other thing is, it's the problem with like the remakes we get, the reboots we get, and everything else. I don't think Hollywood trusts its audience. That I think is the major problem. There's just no trust. And that leads into all the remakes we get and the upped sequels that we get, and the dumbass comedies, the lowbrow comedies. It's just there's just no trust on the business side of things, and no room for experimentation.
I mean that's true. These days is getting truer and truer about multiple industries. Video game industry being another one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sucks to see.
It does. With the video game industry, there's gonna be a breaking point because to make a game, the cost is extraordinary.
Right.
And like I saw this whole thing about how everything's divvied out and the production and everything like that. And you're kind of lucky that games only cost $60.
Right.
And the reason why we have season passes and all this other stuff is so a game can make up the lost rev. There's going to be a breaking point. Somebody that has to come in and go, okay, we can do this more efficiently this way and can cut costs, or games are going to go up $10 or $20.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at.
I mean, it's all give and take.
Yeah.
That's the nature of the beast.
It is, but I think we're approaching a tipping point with it all.
No, it does feel like that. Yeah. Something has to give.
Something has to give. Either we as gamers and consumers have to just go, okay, maybe we don't need all this resolution and the graphics and how powerful it looks. Scale it back. We can deal. Or we're going to have to shell out more money. Mm-hmm. Bottom line,
No.
one of those two things have to happen.
Gamers and consumers should also not settle for games where characters in this day and age fall through the map. Andromeda.
True that. Yeah, true that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if we're talking about Mass Effect, so most of the problems, from my understanding, are upper management.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
It was upper management going, we need to save time, let's use this technology that's not fully tested, and it just fucks everything up.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it as well.
It was a combination of that and a lot of outsourcing and the actual artists at BioWare not really working on the art stuff. And we get bad everything.
I mean,
We get really
granted, I'm not saying this is a blame the BioWare team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I went to work and I talked to my coworker and I was like, I don't want to endorse this game, nor do I want to sell it to people.
Your coworker said that, or you?
I said that.
You said that?
And I said that because I was like, I understand that there may be technical problems within the company, but this game has way too many bugs that most games these days don't ever have anymore.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't tolerate buying that. Like,
yeah.
Like that's the thing. Like, granted, don't get me wrong, I like BioWare. I like BioWare a lot. And I wanted Mass Effect Andromeda to be good, but when you can create a compilation video that piles up all of these fucking mistakes and like all these glitches that like are base level glitches.
Yeah.
Like, as a consumer, I do not want to buy that, and as someone who sells them, I don't want other consumers to buy it.
Yeah. It really needs to flop
the
hard.
negatives outweigh the positives of the game.
Yeah.
That is the killer of it all. Where it's like there are positives within it, but they are so few and far apart that it just is very depressing to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really upsetting.
I mean, if there's a patch that fixes all that shit, I'll sing its praises.
That is a 70 gig patch,
right?
that you're better, Shane. You're better off like hoping that they'll just like refund you and give you an entirely new game for it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't buy it, so
I know, man. I have to pick that game up again now that I finished the one thing I was working on. Which I guess we can transition into.
Sure.
I mean, you finished your game. I finished Diablo 3 finally. You finished Dark Souls.
Yeah. I finished the DLC for Dark Souls 3, the Ring City, and that was a really good DLC.
Made up for the last one.
That said, that DLC gave, and I'm not the only one who felt this. That DLC is fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
It is unforgiving. The mobs don't care about how well geared you are, what how upgraded your gear is. They will wreck your shit, and they will do it in mobs or in single units. It is a hard DLC with a bunch of hard bosses. That said, some of the bosses felt a little more underwhelming than others, but it was like, if this is how they wanted the game to like kind of end, because it also ends the storyline for the Dark Souls franchise.
Right.
If this is how they wanted it to end, they did a damn good job.
Well, that's cool.
It was very satisfying. Yeah.
Does this one this DLC make up for the last one?
It really does, and what's kind of irksome is how intertwined the two DLCs are. Yeah, there are a few characters that are from Ashes of Ariandale that if you didn't meet them, it makes no sense why you're meeting them in this game, in this DLC.
Right.
So it's one of those, you need to have played Ashes first to get an appreciation for one of the bosses you fight and an item you're given from that boss. And if there's no connection to it, it feels very like arbitrary on why you're doing this. So that's kind of the killer.
Right.
This DLC is definitely worth the $15 price tag on it.
Okay.
It definitely, It's been one of the few DLCs where I had to like reevaluate like my character specs, and I had to respec them entirely going into it. Also, I had to do a lot more heavy grinding than I typically have done in other Souls-like DLCs. I think the other one where I felt like that was the case was what's its face, the Old Hunters DLC, where I recognized how much of a learning curve how much the learning curve has increased. So I commend a game where it's like, hey, you're going in, it's going to be a rough ride, and if you feel like you're having a hard time, you should probably go fix it. Yeah. So I loved it. I thought it was good. The story was good for it, so I'm really happy with it. Yeah.
Did Bloodborne have one DLC or two?
It had one DLC, but it may have been like it may as well have been looked at as like a second game for it.
Okay.
The Old Hunter DLC was huge. It was massive, and it added a lot more to that world. Much like the Ring City did as well, which is sweet.
That's cool.
There are some bosses in there. The optional boss for the Ring City is probably given people the most issues. Mm-hmm. You fight this giant ass dragon in the middle of this like cave, and it's fast and unrelenting, and your typical strategy of hide underneath the dragon because it can't get me. This dragon's like, nah, bro. I'll rear up and I'll breathe fire down and bathe the entire area under me in fire. If you can, I'd recommend watching. If Game Grumps are doing it, watch it. Watch the fight for Midir, Gale, and the Demon Princes.
Mm-hmm. The Demon Princes were those ridiculous.
The Demon Prince's boss fight is dope because you can change how the Demon Prince acts by killing one of its two demonkin first or second. It's very cool. So you can kind of each kind of fight for each player's experience can be a little bit different, and the Half-Light fight can go one way or another. For my younger brother Eric, he ended up not ever fighting Half-Light. Instead, he fought someone who's a member of the Church of the Spear, and he felt really disappointed where I played it offline and dealt with one giant ass boss that pushed my shit in, but was fun nonetheless. So, yeah, I liked it. I will put my stamp of approval on that way to end the Dark Souls franchise.
That's cool.
A good way to go. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I like it when a game...
Hopefully they make another Bloodborne.
Yeah, I like it when a game ends, and it ends well,
Yes.
So...
Yeah.
It's good
that satisfaction of the story is complete, and you feel complete.
Right. Exactly. So...
Yeah. And then you beat Diablo.
Yeah, I beat Diablo 3. I mean, it's an old game, but I haven't played it, so I beat it. It was the Reaper of Souls. So I went all the way and defeated what's his name, Methathylon or whatever.
The angel at the very end.
Yeah,
or the hell it is. Yeah,
his motivation is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the consequences of it, I think, are even more interesting.
Yeah.
So, but beyond that, it was definitely a good game. I beat it all the way with my Demon Hunter.
Nice. Let me ask you a question, Nick.
What? What's up?
How would you feel if the game ended and you didn't do the DLC?
I'd be mad. I mean, I get that.
Yeah,
I get that.
Good.
Like the way I looked at it was like, this last chapter is the most important chapter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, fighting Diablo is not a great fight. No. Diablo is not that challenging. It's just really lackluster. You should be fighting Diablo in like 30 minions, and it should go through 4 stages or some shit like that. Like Diablo should be hard, and he wasn't hard.
Yeah.
the Angel of Death, again, I cannot pronounce his fucking name, even though they said it 1,000 times. He was hard, but not excruciatingly so. But it was definitely a fun fight, I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made a new character, and I've gone into the seasonal play.
Cool.
And I went to adventure mode in seasonal, and I went into a rift, the Nephilim rifts.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So my because I started as a crusader in this playthrough, and my crusader went from level 1 to I think 20 now because of the rifts.
oh yeah.
So yeah, those things help you more than I thought. But yeah, I mean, it's probably a game I'm not going to uninstall it though.
Okay.
I probably definitely going to keep going back and forth with it. I wouldn't mind getting up one or two characters up to 70.
Yeah.
Just to see.
It's definitely a fun accomplishment.
Well, getting them up to 70 and seeing what the Paragon stuff does, I think be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the next game I'm probably going to try and beat is Sleeping Dogs.
For sure.
Because that one I will
That'd definitely be a
uninstall.
good one to finish.
Yeah. What's up?
I'm probably gonna try and beat Andromeda,
No.
so then I can pick up. I can start playing 15 again.
All right.
And then maybe get distracted by some other game that I wanna pick up and play, but nothing right now is kind of is doing that for me yet. So, which I'm happy with.
You know what's coming out this month? Dawn of War 3.
Oh, yeah, that is, huh?
I got an email from Relic telling me about the beta.
God.
And I'm hurting.
God damn.
I'm hurting. Because I can't play it.
I totally forgot that it's coming out soon.
Yeah, I know. I guess it's wrong, like Warhammer a little bit. I saw a Humble Bundle advertisement for books.
Oh, yeah.
And they're giving a ton, in the Humble Bundle, it's a ton of Warhammer books.
It's
Warhammer 40.
the Horus Heresy books.
Yeah, it's for Warhammer 40k, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I thought that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, so on to more backlog. So I got Sleeping Dogs. I got Mad Max.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Dawn of War 3, but I don't know when I'm going to pick it up, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. It comes out, I think, the 26th.
It's rough with the spring releases.
It's been pretty heavy.
Considering that this is usually the time of game droughts,
right?
We're kind of bombarded by games, good games at that, despite a few foul ups.
Right. It's definitely felt very heavy and sometimes congested. But there's like all these games, and it's just a lot of pick and choose how I like what I want to pick up and when. So. But I'll get a chance to play kind of all the games that I want to pick up. I still haven't even played Dishonored 2. I haven't picked it up yet.
I completely forgot about that.
I know it's one of those that I keep looking at again and again. Like, I really should pick this game up. I know I'll love it. I know I'll enjoy it. I just haven't had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
It's a game that's actually, I think it's slid out on a lot of people's radars, but it's got really good reviews.
Yeah, it really does.
I need to get Titanfall. That's the game that's been on my radar.
Yeah, that has also very strong reviews.
Very strong reviews. Again, like we've discussed, it's just EA's being stupid when they released it.
Yeah, as we definitely have shared our feeling on its release.
Yeah, it really it should be the game that we talk about in March. That's the game we should have been talking.
It really should.
We should be talking about, and we're not. Because they decided to go up against COD.
That game definitely would have benefited from coming out now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So.
I picked up a game recently.
What?
What'd you get?
I got Persona 5.
All right, how are you enjoying it?
So
I don't know anything about Persona 5 or anything about Persona.
Well, I mean, the good news is it's like Final Fantasy. You don't have to play any of them to like pick up one,
or you don't have to play them. In my case, all right.
Well, I mean, so this one's really good. I mean, it got. Let's see, it was about 4 hours of kind of introductory stuff before I got to my own free roam.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not too bad because a lot of it's like them actually explaining mechanics and like taking the time to make sure that you understand how they work.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So that's good. I like the plot of this one a lot, and I like some of the features that they've crafted around the plot.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing about this game is you're thieves. That's like you go to the other world as thieves, and you invade palaces, which are basically distortions of people's perception of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so you're an intruder, and your whole point to break down the palace, you have to break it and steal the treasure, which is kind of like an emotion or some sort of driving force behind the person.
Okay.
But what I like about it is, in Persona games, there's always choices. There's always a lot of ways to how you spend leveling up your character.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't just level them up in combat, your character has like D&D stats, like there's charisma and knowledge and charm, was actually charisma, guts, so you can't level those up in combat. You have to level them up by interacting with people and doing things.
That's neat.
Yeah, so the cool part is it works on a calendar system like most of the games do, but the difference is you either choose your time between going to the dungeon, and there you'll gain experience and money, and sometimes rare items, or you could do stuff in the real world to work on your character, work on getting some extra items or crafting stuff, right? So there's a good balance.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes this one really good is if you play online, you get access to this thing called the Thieves Guild. Okay. And what makes the Thieves Guild great is that every day you can click on it, you can use it to see what other people did during the day.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if it's like, hey, I think I want to do a dungeon today, let's see how well that went for a lot of people. And I open it up, and it's like, well, 70% of players did dungeons this day, right? 20% actually went to school and studied. 10% did miscellaneous stuff, right?
Right.
But it gets better. Because it's a game that takes place in high school, there are rare occasions where you can increase your knowledge by answering questions from the teachers, right?
Right.
I can hit the Thieves Guild, and I can see how everyone answered the question.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. There's usually like 3 options, and so basically it gives you a percentage of did they pick A, B, or C.
Right.
Okay.
And actually, I went against the grade, and I chose the question that had the least amount of percentage picked, and I ended up being wrong. But that was cool. I was like, this is neat, because this is a game that it has so much to do that a lot of times you have to play it multiple times, and you have to like look up how other people played it. This time, I could do it live.
Well, that's cool.
I like that feature that it incorporates a connection to, like, you don't have to go online to see how people did it. The game provides that inherently. I think that's a very, very cool thing. It, potentially shows that the developers understand that a lot of people like to know what other people chose, or how people deciphered certain things, and that they've given that access, that knowledge to its player base. So I like that. That's great. Yeah.
One other thing I'm really digging is something that they did with the story. And this is a little bit spoilers for anyone, but most of the time these games start off, you're always the new kid, you're the mysterious kid, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This one, you're a delinquent, quote unquote.
You're a delinquent?
Is basically, you got transferred to schools because in your old home district, you got in a scuffle with a guy who was basically assaulting a lady on the street. And he was a really influential person, and he sued you, and he won, and you have a criminal record, so you got expelled.
Oh.
So the cool part, though, is you go to this new school, and nobody wants to interact with you. And eavesdropping is a huge part of the game, and as you walk around, you'll hear people talking about you. They talk about how you might do drugs, or how they think you're dangerous, or how you look normal but you might snap at any moment.
Interesting.
And that's really cool, though, because like in most of these games, everyone's like, oh, it's the new guy. Oh, he's so interesting. I want to talk to him.
And it's total opposite. That's neat.
It is. And it's really cool because, granted, it's, based in Japanese culture, so obviously there's a little bit more of different inflections on what a delinquent could be.
Right.
Sure.
Granted, what makes it fun, though, is a lot of the storytelling. The reason why the motif is thieves this time is it's about rebelling. So basically, it's breaking societal norms, and the reason you're building party members is you're finding people who have quote unquote lost their place in society for one reason or another.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean it's cool. And one other thing I really like is that the game's kind of telling in flashbacks, because in the beginning of the game you get caught by the police as the Phantom Thief. And then basically you got interrogated, and so you're kind of being interrogated by this prosecutor. And so as you play through the game, there'll be moments when you hit a key story point, and it'll cut back to the interrogation.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool.
Did you hear what, I think it's Atlas that made the game?
Yes, it is.
What, did you hear the whole Twitch shit?
Mm-mm.
The thing with Twitch was Atlas is basically you're only allowed 90 minutes to stream it, and they basically say any more than that, or we're gonna take legal action or something like that.
That's weird.
Really?
Yeah, they're basically like really like sticking it to streamers. Like, yes, you can stream it, but only to a certain point, and then not before this date, or something like that, because they want to avoid spoilers or something like that. It's interesting what they're doing, and it's getting to this whole thing of like fair use and who actually owns the game. And technically, you could say, even though you bought a physical copy of the game, you don't own it. Like, you can't fully stream it, because it belongs to the publisher.
That brings up a lot of interesting questions.
It's an interesting battle.
I don't disagree with Atlas's decision on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that they want to like keep certain things unspoiled until it's like setting street dates for things.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. I can respect that. Does it suck? Sure. I'm not going to disagree with that. But I think they're within their. They're not. They're within their right, and they're like. Yeah, it sucks, but I think they've at least been like, hey, don't do this ahead of time, without being without like letting someone go too far with it and fucking it up.
Yeah.
So they set expectations already.
Yeah,
I think that's smart before it just gets too out of hand.
It's gonna be interesting with Let's Plays and streaming and all that shit. Like, you kind of have to wonder, like, who's at fault, who's got the right to do it, who doesn't. Right. It's gonna be an interesting battle of legality and everything like that. Technically,
it really is.
I mean, Atlas might be in the right, because if you wanted to stream Star Wars, guess what? You're gonna get sued. Fucking LucasArts and Disney will come down hard on you.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that, like, if you ever popped in a DVD, still to this day, if the FBI warning comes up,
right?
It's the same thing. We had that problem in college where we never ever promoted to watch a movie in the auditorium.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know what it comes down to, though, that's really interesting? Is that the FBI warning specifically about redistribution, right?
Right.
But so now the real question becomes, what is Twitch streaming? Is that redistribution?
It could be.
Or is that the same as couch co-op?
Well, it could almost be redistribution. I'm like, I'm not going to play this game. I'm going to watch someone else play this game.
True.
I watch the Game Grumps because I find a lot of it funny. I don't necessarily, I'm not going to I mean, they played Doom for like 8 episodes. I was going to get Doom anyway. I still watched it, and I still got Doom.
Yeah.
But it's big. Really, if I'm going to go out and buy a game, it's because I want to buy the game. For Let's Plays and stuff like that, it's like... I think it's a totally different beast. Of why you watch them.
Alright, so I think we've hit all our good topics for the day.
Yeah, I think we did.
I think so.
Alright, well, thank you for listening. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe on iTunes, go check out the blog maybe. If you're on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe. Anything will do.
Definitely, please.
Yes, like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And I think with that, we're out.
Take it easy, guys.
Yeah. You too.
Later days.
Late.